Welcome to ForeverFit.tv, your online source for fitness, nutrition and lifestyle. With your host, Nicola Riley, personal trainer, nutrition and lifestyle coach, here to help you get in the best shape of your life.
Today it's nice and early in the morning this morning. I have just been for a fantastic walk outside with Ellie. This is how I like to start my day. This is what I'm getting up nice and early. So we're up at 5:30 this morning, and I did a bit of blog writing. So this is my most creative time in the morning. I just love it. It's super quiet. My brain's on fire, and it's really funny because when I was at university, this was the time that I used to study. I used to set my alarm for 4 a.m. in the morning, and I used to study till like 9 a.m. and then I knew that my brain would just kind of switch off and I just couldn't get that focus anymore, and I thought this was just something that that was kind of wrong with me, that I just couldn't study like other people, heading off to the library and things. But the more I read books and the more I read motivation and hear what other people are doing, I just find out that this is your most creative time, and this is the time that you should be doing like creative work or like intense work. And so for me, this is my blog writing creative zone. This is when I just feel fantastic. So it's pretty cool that I naturally worked that out, what works best for me, but it's quite awesome to know that that's what other people recommend as well. So I love my morning time. It is definitely my most creative, and so my morning routine is like I said, I'm up nice and early, and I want to make the most of my walk in terms of I want to get outside and get sunlight. So at the moment that's too early for me to head out for a walk, so I write a couple of blog posts or one blog post within that time frame, and then I head out and when the sun comes up and head out for a 30-minute power walk, or I might do a workout at that time of morning. And then I sit down and then I get into some nuts and bolts of my day and come back to work. So I also, after my walk as well, I love to foam roll, and I'm finding that's making a huge difference just to how I feel, the way my body's recovering and everything. So in this time as well, I'm listening to podcasts, and I love just listening to, like, when I'm foam rolling, I actually watch some like real motivating and educational YouTube videos as well. So this is quite a powerful time of the day that sets me up for the rest of my day. It's a real quiet, uninterrupted space, and I just love it. So here I am into my day. It's still nice and early, and I am bringing you podcast episode number 27. So new this week in the online gym, I have got an awesome power yoga, and power yoga is just such a powerful thing for you to include into your week. I think everybody needs to do it at least once or twice a week, and the reason I've done these power yogas is because they are short, but they lift your heart rate and they strengthen your body at the same time. So you're getting like the relaxation benefits of your yoga without like lifting your heart rate too high, but you're getting the real strength and toning benefits as well at the same time. So these are real powerful. This one here was 20 minutes long, and it was awesome. Just felt amazing afterwards, and finished off with some amazing back bends, so really good. And then I did a really nice short hit, 15 minutes long, full body, no equipment, and just makes you feel fantastic afterwards. So those are the new workouts in the online gym. I've then got some posts all about resistant starch and hormones and weight gain. So these are your VIP blog posts, and these are so resistant starch is something that's I've found really beneficial for me to understand, because I've got because with my gut problems and leaky gut, that some starches I react to, and also some fruits and sugars I react to as well. So, but at the same time, I need the energy and the beneficial food for my bacteria as well in my gut just to thrive off. So this is where resistant starch is something that is making quite a good difference, and I'm dabbling a bit more in that. So I've written a really detailed post in that, so you can learn about it and find out if it's something you want to try, or just something you want to educate yourself on, just so you can understand the different types of carbohydrates. Because just when you thought a starch was a starch and a carbohydrate was a carbohydrate, it's not. I've done a big post in there as well, all about the different types of carbohydrates, where you can break it down to your fructose, your glucose, your insoluble and soluble fibres, and it's so the more you understand, the more you're able to fuel your body with the foods that it actually needs. So check out that. And then the post I've done on hormones and weight gain. So we get really confused and think that we can exercise a bad diet, and that weight loss is just calories in versus calories out, and it's so much more complicated than that. If it was as simple as a maths equation, then people would be losing weight. It's not. It's much more like a chemistry experiment. You've got to get all the things in place in order for you to lose weight but have energy at the same time. Yeah, you can lose weight if you go down a crash diet, but what's going to happen on the other side of that, and what's that going to do internally to your hormones? So there is so many people out there with hormonal issues, and there's women in early 20s and 30s of having hormone related issues. I myself had major problems with them, and also with like skin problems and things, and all of these are affected to your hormones. So there are so many things that cause endocrine disruption, and the first place that this is the amount of chemicals that our guts are exposed to. So this is through things like PBA, BHC and PCB, and so these are all found in your your packaged products. So PBA is the most common one, and this is found in your drink bottles, your canned goods, anything with kind of like plastic, and it's basically, when we get too much of this in our body, our liver isn't able to metabolize it, isn't able to get rid of it, and all of the things, when you add that up with like your chemicals that are in your skincare and the chemicals that are in your food, it's creating a lot of toxic load on your body, and so all of this is going to affect your hormones. The other thing is the amount of electronic waves, devices that we are surrounded with, so the EMF exposure, and this is going to also affect your hormones too. So making sure that you are trying to reduce the amount of EMF exposure to if you're going down this path, and then making sure that you aren't throwing in insult to injury with like antibiotics, painkillers, and even more chemicals from the food that you're eating. So our body can get exposed to disruptions in our hormones via internal and external sources, and the best place for you to start is to start with your food, and just to start with eating real clean, nutrient dense food that you know where it's come from. And when you do that, and then over time, once that starts to come easy, then you start to look at things like your pantry, and then you start to look at things like your skincare, your hair products, and then you're able just to go layer upon layer and just start to reduce the exposure. So inside the online gym, I go into real full detail about how hormones affect your weight, how your health of your gut affects your hormones, and how the different types of foods may be affecting your thyroid as well. And thyroid is huge for weight, and it's involved in your metabolism. And so I go into and discuss in depth about how you can fix this, the sort of foods to be eating, the supplements you should be eating, how to exercise as well to overcome this. I'll give you the tools so that you can stop counting the calories, and you can take a really good look at the big picture, and then find out how you can achieve that long-lasting weight loss that you're after. So today's topic, I wanted to talk to you all about how to eat intuitively and how to listen to hunger. We get really confused about how much we should eat and when we should eat, and the different types of foods that we should eat. So I want you to start listening intuitively, and start, instead of listening to what your friends are doing, what's on the media, what the last article that you read, or what you think you should be eating, and not what your body's what you think you should be eating, instead of what you know you should be eating. So it's time, you want to start to really listen to your body. So I'll go into detail how you can do this. So paying attention to what your body actually needs. When you learn how to do this intuitive eating, you need to understand what actual hunger is, and how you're able to fuel your body. Because we eat because it's a certain time of the day, or we believe that we need 5 to 6 meals a day, or that we're craving something, and so that we go and eat because of that craving, but we're not actually hungry. The crazy thing is that when you learn how to pay attention to your body and you learn how to listen to hunger, you're going to find that you don't actually need to be eating that much. We get so bombarded with information, and it gets really confusing about what types of foods to be eating and when you should be doing it. So the most powerful tool that you own is your own body. So instead of letting other people tell you what to do, start to pay attention to your body, because it will tell you what you need to do. And so there's some certain things you can do that can help you learn how to listen to your body. So the first thing is to learn how to understand when you are full and when you are satisfied. So too often we put a plate in front of us, and that plate is something that, it might be loaded up pretty high, and we think we have to finish that plate. So I challenge you to when you have your next plate, just to eat that meal, but then stop once you're satisfied, and don't be afraid to put that meal in the fridge for leftovers for another day, to freeze it, just to put that meal aside for somebody else if you want. And so just learn to start to listen to when you're actually satisfied and you've had enough actual food, instead of thinking I've got to finish the plate. The other thing is don't be afraid to get hungry, and to get, to allow yourself to get hungry. Because when we eat lots and lots of sugar in our diet, we get these massive energy highs and energy lows, and you get into that state of hangry where you just got to eat now, and you're just like, the whole world's coming in and you need food now. And that is because you are living off a diet that is way too high in sugar, way too high in carbs. When you have good, well-rounded meals, and meals that leave you satisfied and feeling really good, your meals last you longer, and your blood sugars don't crash. So you're able to get into that hungry zone, but you don't get blood sugar crashes, and you don't get to that angry state of mind or anything like that, because you're stable, you feel right, and your body's able to burn body fat because you fueled it right. And this all comes down to learning how to structure your plate, and so that you know what to put on your plate, and when you learn how to listen to your body. So one of the easiest ways to do this is, say you have breakfast, and whatever your current breakfast is, that should last you a good few hours, and you should feel a sense of well-being after that breakfast. And a good sign that your breakfast is wrong is that, say at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you get real plummeting blood sugar, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to eat. Or you get to the mid-afternoon and you feel really sleepy and tired, and you're just kind of exhausted, and then you just, your whole rhythm of your day is out of whack. And so if you were to have a really high protein breakfast, protein is the first 30% of the protein that you eat in your day goes straight towards your immune system and boost your metabolism. And so you want a high protein breakfast to boost your metabolism, to get your body on fire so that you're burning fuel, and so you're in the right metabolic state to have maintained a consistent energy throughout your day. So then that type of breakfast should last you if you've got that structured right. So when you have a meal, take record of how you feel after that. So say it was a meal that was quite high carb base, and you have that, and then just write a couple of notes. Okay, I got cravings, I fell asleep a couple of hours later, or just write what happens in your body and how you feel after that meal, and then play around with your protein portions, your carb portions, add a bit of fruit in there, and just see what happens. And then start to play around and find your perfect meal metabolic plate that gives you really good energy throughout your day. So this is how you're going to learn to understand what your body needs and how to fuel it correctly. So when you say you have a really good lunch, and it's a really good salad, you've got some meat in there, and you finish it off with you've got some avocado, and you finish it off with an orange afterwards, and you have the sense of really good well-being, you feel energized, you feel fueled, and that meal lasts you a good few hours afterwards, that's telling you that that was a really well-structured meal, and that's the type of meal that you want to be having breakfast, lunch and dinner, and that you want to be trying to replicate with the different, you understand the amount of protein you put on there. So your plate like breakfast will become you might put eggs as your protein source, but then you put loads of your vegetables in there and maybe a piece of fruit, or you might put some starch beside it. And so you just play around with exactly what your body needs to provide it with fuel so that you feel really good. So here's some tips I just want to go over of more ways that you can learn how to listen to your body. So number one is stop mentally thinking about diets and food plans and what is the right thing to do. Start to think about what your body needs, and is it hungry or is it craving? Because cravings come around because the meal structure wasn't right. So if you're getting a whole lot of cravings after your dinner, start to ask yourself, was there enough carbs, was there enough protein, was there enough fat? You need every single macronutrient on that plate to have good consistent energy. So make sure, just start to ask those questions and learn to listen to your body. And then another point is just listen to when you are hungry. So stop eating when you are satisfied, and learning to listen to when you're hungry is some really valuable points for you to really understand. And if you can take those on board and you change nothing else, this is going to make a huge impact on just to the amount of food that you end up eating a day. We don't actually need that much food, and when we get trapped into the thought of thinking that we just need to be eating all the time, all day, every day, and just start to pay attention to how much you're actually eating, and is it too much? Is it not enough? Are you feeling satisfied? Do you have that sense of well-being? Exercise. Exercise is something that can not only boost your metabolism, but it also energizes you and makes you really aware of what your body needs at that point as well. So learning to understand what your body needs after food too is really important. Then eat foods that provide long-lasting energy and fuel. So when you eat really simple sugars, they are like instant sugar hit and then you plumb it straight after. So that fuel source is providing you with no lasting energy. But when you eat foods that are, nutrient dense, they've got good quality protein in there, you've got fats in there, you've got like fibre from your vegetables, you're going to have this long-lasting fuel, and you're going to have all the minerals and vitamins that that meal delivers as well. So think about each meal as a fuel source, and think about asking the purpose of that food to provide you with energy and well-being. So structure each plate and each meal with that. And understand as well that like dehydration is huge when it comes to you thinking that you're hungry. And so if you are feeling hungry and you are getting cravings, things like that, always understand that you should hydrate your body first. And then when cravings can come from either too much of one thing or not enough of another thing. So again, the more you sort of start to write things down and record things down and start to listen to how your body's reacting to food, the more you're going to understand, okay, why have I got these cravings at the moment? What does my body need to help this? And there are certain things as well that you can do to stop cravings if you are getting them and you think you've got your meal right. It's just to have like a piece of fruit, some citrus fruit, like an orange is a great thing to have after meal, or some like low sugar fruit like some blueberries or a green apple, or a herbal tea. I find having a herbal tea after my meals helps incredibly just to stop cravings, stop me overeating, and I just feel really good, and I last a long time between meals. So if you learn how to listen to your body and eat intuitively, you're going to find some really huge benefits in the way that your body eats, so the way that your body feels. And if you, like I said, if you were to change nothing else, but you were to just learn how to eat intuitively, you're going to notice a huge difference to just the power that you feel in your own health. So give that a go, and let me know how you get on. If you've got any questions as well, this is what the whole online gym is about. So this is where I go into detail of how you can fine-tune your diet, how you can find out your metabolic type, how you can find out how to structure your plates, and like grocery lists and menu plans and different breakfast, lunch, dinner options and everything like that. I go into full detail. So if this is sounding confusing, then just remember that that's exactly what I go into in the online gym. The other thing I want to talk to you about is dried fruit. This is something that is really misunderstood and overeaten, and when people do start to find healthier options, they do think that dried fruit is a good option to go down. And I'm not saying that it's not, but I want to explain to you just some certain things for you to look into. And this ties into the whole hormones as well that I've written about. So drying fruit is a really great way for you to make your fruit last longer. So when fresh fruit's in season, you dry your fruit and the fruit's able to, you keep it in your pantry and it lasts a lot longer. But as back in the day, our ancestors, what they would do is they'd bring that fruit back to life by adding water to it, giving it a quick boil, and then they'd add it to dishes to bring some sweetness to the dish or some flavour to the dish. Today we treat dried fruit completely different, and it's overused, because the thing to understand is that one dried fruit is one whole dried apricot. So if you've got a dried apricot sitting there, you've got to think, okay, how many of these would I eat if this was a whole natural apricot? Everything's still in there, it's just been dehydrated. So the thing with dried fruit is, so the calories are still going to be there, the minerals are still going to be there, the vitamins are still going to be there. There's going to be some slight changes because it's been dried and it's been sitting there, so you're going to lose some of the minerals and vitamins, but the majority of it's going to be there. And sometimes the sugar content increases because it's dried as well. So if you are sitting there because it's quite little, but you're eating quite a lot, you could be getting a massive sugar hit from eating too much dried fruit, because quite often people grab a handful of dried fruits, they might have 4 or 5 dried apricots with some nuts, and that's like eating 4 or 5 whole apricots. So just understanding that is quite important too. So the other thing to understand is that dried fruit, when it hits your gut, it is pulling liquid from your gut to help absorb and rehydrate that fruit. And so it is causing a lot of stress in your gut, and eating too much dried fruit can actually cause you to be dehydrated. So when it comes to dried fruit, the best way to consume them is to rehydrate them and then add them into things. So this is where the truffles and the mousse bars and things that I've made on the website using rehydrated fruit, where you mix them up with some nuts and seeds and coconut, and you roll them into balls, and you've got this amazing snack, and your dried fruit's been treated right, and you just combine it with some good quality fats and good quality proteins, and you've got your perfect fuel source. So another example of when dried fruit's causing some issues with your gut is prime example of prunes. We used to have a running joke in our family that whenever prunes came home in the grocery list, that the lounge would stink. So dried fruit, if you aren't drinking the liquid with it, it's going to be causing stress in your gut, it's going to cause fermentation, and this is going to lead to gas. So if you're eating dried fruit and you're getting a whole lot of gas, this is your body telling you, rehydrate your fruit so you don't get the gas. Because if you would have a whole real apricot, you probably wouldn't get the gas. And if you still get the gas, well, then you might like to look into FODMAPs, and that's something I've written about also. So you can Google that on the website, just put it in the search terms if you want to find out more about that. But otherwise, if you are getting gas off dried fruit, just rehydrate the fruit. And you can still have it just as a snack out of the fridge. I keep the dried fruit, rehydrated fruit, in a jar in the fridge, and you can just pull one out, and they rehydrate almost to the size of the original fruit. So it's really cool. And also another really awesome trick that I love is a rehydrated fig. Is awesome. And then you put it in the freezer, and it just turns into this most amazing treat to have after dinner. And that's something I've been loving. Just one big juicy rehydrated frozen fig after dinner is just bliss. It's awesome. So give that a go. The other thing to understand is that the dried fruit, when you're often buying it, is the process that they go through isn't something that pleasant. Often commercial dried fruit is dried using sulfur dioxide, and this is something that a lot of people can be allergic to or react to, and it can come out through like skin issues and gut problems. So when you are buying store-bought fruit, traditionally from like the supermarket, that can also be covered with extra sugar, and they can also be dehydrated in extra fruit juice. So you're getting a whole lot of sugar when you're eating that. And the other thing to understand is that often that dried fruit has got preservatives and additives on it, and they often sometimes use a vegetable oil on them as well to make them glossy and appeal to you. So the dried fruit that you're buying often from the supermarket isn't just dried fruit. It's often covered with a trans fat oil and lots of sugar. So make sure you do have a look at it and check if there's any additives or preservatives. But I highly recommend, if you are buying dried fruit, make sure that you buy organic dried fruit, because it's simple, there's not going to be too many nasties on there. But the other thing to understand with dried fruit is that if you are buying organic dried fruit, you're missing the preservatives on there that stop any fungus and things growing on them. So if you are buying organic dried fruit, this is where it becomes really important to make sure you rehydrate them and then give them a flash boil before you eat them, because this is going to kill any sort of parasites that might be sitting on them, any fungus, and sometimes you might have insect eggs that kind of do come into them, and that's the like catch-22 when it comes to your dried fruit. But it's just making sure that you treat it right. So when you are having your dried fruit as well, when you rehydrate it, the flash boil is a real fantastic way just to make sure that you are killing things that might be on it, and also like rehydrating it. So then all it takes is you soak it for 12 to 24 hours and then pop it in a pot and boil it for a just quick flash boil, and then I drain that water off. I put a bit more water back into it, and I keep them in the fridge. Or often I'll blitz it up and turn it into a paste, and then that will be a really good thing just to put in the fridge or just to put straight into some baking. So this week I am answering a couple of listener questions. And so the first listener question I have got is, hang on, I'll just open this up. Hi Nicola, I am quite confused about nutritional fact labels. Can you please explain what I should look out for when I am looking at products? i.e. what is the carb amount, sugar, fat and heart tick amount that I should be looking at? So when it comes to nutritional labels on an item, I am not a huge reader of the the amounts of total fat, the calories in it and servings like that, because I don't buy packaged foods that often. And so when I'm buying foods that I know exactly what they're in, and I'm buying a whole lot of one ingredient packages. So for me, when it comes to the nutritional facts labels, they are fantastic because they do tell you what's in there. But personally, I look at the ingredient list. So I look at what's actually inside the food and what's actually that food is made up of. So for me, if I was to give you some simple advice on like what to look out for, so instead of confusing you with a whole lot of information, my most simple advice is take a look at the back of a packet. Have a look at the ingredients, and if there's stuff in there that you don't know what it is, put it down and walk away. Because a beautiful carrot and an apple and some celery and some nuts and seeds, they don't need advertising and marketing, and they don't need a whole lot of nutritional facts labels. They are one ingredient. When you combine that with things like honey and garlic and ginger, and you get these whole one ingredients and you put them into this amazing sauce and you make it yourself from home, you know what is going into that. But if you were to go to the supermarket and you were to pick up like a stir fry sauce and look at the back, you will see that there is so many additives and preservatives in that sauce. There'll be high fructose corn syrup, there'll be all sorts of other ingredients in there that are going to be causing havoc within your body. But if you start to stock your trolley up with a whole lot of one ingredient produce and avoid the packaged foods, you're not going to need to worry about the nutritional facts labels and what's on the back of them and what it all means. So there is a place for them, and they are good, but instead of getting confused and things like that, I just want you to think about one ingredient pantry, and if you are buying packaged foods, think about what's actually in it, and can I make this a better way with whole one food ingredients. Hope that makes sense. So another listener question I have got this week is, hey Nicola, I'm really struggling with sugar cravings. I quit smoking 4 years ago and I've tried many times to quit sugar, but sugar seems way harder than quitting smoking. Do you have any suggestions for me? So sugar is something that's hidden in a whole lot of processed foods, and it's on everything that's packaged almost. It's usually the number one ingredient hidden as something with an O's on the end of it. So even if you were to go down like a low-fat diet, they're going to have to put something in there to make it have flavour, and so this is where sugar comes in, and sugar's always added to your packaged food. So the first place to start with kicking your sugar cravings is to start to add into your diet foods that are real nutrient dense, foods that are really nourishing, foods that provide you with the right sort of plate. So like I was talking about before, you're going to have your proteins, your carbs and your fats on that plate, and you're starting to make sure that your food is real food. So as soon as you stop buying packaged processed foods, you're going to be slowly starting to cut the sugar out of your diet naturally. And so we all have like different makeups, genetics, metabolism, gut health and stress levels. And for some people, getting addicted to sugar can have a different reaction. So some people who are having sugar can have a different reaction in their brain and have a different body chemistry to someone who isn't reacting. So for someone who does have a sugar addiction, it's really important for that person to be really careful around it. And the only place the place you have to start is with what's going into your trolley at the supermarket. So again, going back to that nutritional facts question, is what are you actually putting into your trolley, and can you cut out sugar through the processed foods? Now, the sugar I'm mainly talking about is the hidden sugar and the sugar from your like refined sugars and the sugars that come in those foods, because I want you to get good quality nutrient-dense food. So I want you to get fruit into your diet, and I want you to get some vegetable, like all the vegetables into your diet, and these are going to have some natural sugars in them, but you're going to get the minerals and you're going to get the fibre and you're going to get all the good stuff from that real food. So just slowly starting to replace packaged food with whole one food ingredient foods that's going to pantry, and then just start to add more into your diet. So start to add more really rich food into your diet. So instead of having the mindset of I can't have sugar, I'm not allowed to have sugar, all you're going to be thinking about all day is sugar and how I can get my high, because you're just constantly addicted to it. But instead, get yourself in the mind frame of what can I add to my diet today. Like, how can I add to my diet? What can I eat today? Give myself more fuel. What can I add? And just think of adding and adding and adding to your diet. And eventually, the more you add of these amazing, powerful foods to your diet, the more sugar and processed foods are all going to slip out of your diet, and you're not going to get stuck in that mindset of woe is me, I'm missing out on sugar, poor me. So change the mindset of what can I add to my diet to make this easier and to give my body more energy. So some other simple tips to fix the sugar addiction is to eat really regularly, and start by eating a really powerful protein-rich breakfast, and make sure that your breakfast and have a mid-morning snack, because the thing with coming off sugar as well is you're going to have natural blood sugar highs and lows. So like I was saying before about learning how to listen intuitively, you need to understand that because you've got this sugar addiction, you're going to have this blood sugar levels that are all over the show. So you need to understand that you don't want your body to get to that low, and because otherwise that's when you're going to reach for that sugar hit. So while you're coming off the sugar addiction and before you head in towards that, like eating intuitively and being able to go longer without food, you need to be eating regularly to keep your blood sugar levels stable, because otherwise you're going to plummet. So you want to make sure that you're getting really good protein in each and every snack and each and every meal. And so that's going to help, and you also want to make sure you're getting some good quality fat in there. So stable, consistent meals throughout your day. So you definitely want to have 3 really good meals. 4 works for you, so 4, then they're slightly smaller meals, or you might have 3 with some snacks in the middle. So just finding a structure that works for you so you can get that good consistent energy throughout your day. Then you want to make sure you drink loads and loads of water. Stay hydrated and make sure you put some good quality rock salt in that, or Himalayan salt, just to make sure that you are able to use that water, so you're getting the electrolytes and the minerals in there, and it's able to get into your cells and actually hydrate you properly. Then choose really good clean foods, so the foods that are real, foods that are as close to their original form as possible, so avoiding the processed packaged foods, foods that include your fruits, vegetables. There's making sure that you're getting good quality fats, and just stocking that trolley at the supermarket with really good quality food, so that when you're at home you are getting everything that your body needs. Eat right for your metabolic type. We're all completely different. We've got different metabolism, history, genetic makeup. What foods work for you will work different for your brother, your friend, or for myself. So learn how to listen to your body and find out what's right for you. I've got metabolic type questionnaire in the online gym, so this is a tool if you want to fine tune your diet more. This is something you can just use in there. I can help you with all of that. Ensure that you're getting adequate protein with every single meal. We need protein. We need to have meal base. We need to make sure that we've got carbs in our meal as well as the fats. If you have a meal that's completely carbs, this is just going to skyrocket your blood sugar and just cause you to crave within hours, if not immediately straight after that dinner. So make sure you're getting the protein. Another step is make sure you're getting adequate fat into your diet. So fat is the flavouring as well as helping with satiety, which is that sense of feeling satisfied. And so this means that you're going to also feel fuller for longer. So if you have your meals that have real high sugar in them and not much fat and protein, this is where your meals just don't last you any length of time. Add spices into your food, so things like mint, turmeric, rosemary, garlic, chili, paprika. They're all flavours that help you stop missing the sugar in your food. So when you add more natural flavour to your food, you're not going to think it's bland and boring. So just add some intensity through real food. And then add other things like coriander, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, cardamom. And these naturally help sweeten your food, and they also help reduce cravings as well. Things like peppermint tea naturally suppress your cravings and also help with digestion. So having peppermint tea after your meals is a really good idea. Move and exercise more. Exercise is an absolute must for everybody. Not exercising is bad for your health as smoking, so get active, stay occupied, and add activity and exercise into your day. So think outside the square and try things like dancing or yoga, or if you are, all you think about is food, just get outside and take your mind off the food and do a little bit of exercise and just get that body moving. And so whatever movement that you enjoy, do that, because that's going to refocus you away from sugar. It's going to relieve cravings, reduce tension, and boost your energy and just your whole overall health. Get enough sleep. A tired body craves. I know this feeling well. Whenever I am tired, I haven't had enough sleep, all my body wants is carbs and sugar. So make sure you get enough sleep, and this is going to help reduce cravings. Get fresh air. So next time you feel a sugar craving kicking, get yourself outside, breathe and move in the fresh air, get some vitamin D on the body, and just get that stimulus of the bright light and the daytime, and it'll help get rid of the sugar. Because when you sort of sit in a dark cave and inside, maybe in your office, and it's just your body's searching for stuff. So make sure you just get outside and take the focus off the food. Be aware of the hidden sugar. So sugar is in things like breads, muffins, slices, muesli bars, bagels, pastas, store-bought products, and all those refined flours, and it acts like sugar in your body. So avoid the white sins. So you've got your white sugar, white flour products, white table salt, and white processed milks products. So all these sorts of things have different reactions in your body. Salt's obviously not sugar, but those other things have all got hidden sugar in them. So avoid those. And eat your phytonutrients. So get vegetables into every meal as possible, full of fibre, minerals, vitamins, and really good quality nutrition. So the thing is to understand that a malnourished body will crave and call out for vitamins and minerals. And so the more junk food you consume, and the more your body will be calling out, because it's telling you it needs more vitamin C, zinc, magnesium. So the more you make your foods really nourishing, nutrient rich, and full of fuel that your body actually needs, the less your body's going to crave things, because it feels that it's malnourished. So don't think that cravings are normal, or it's just me, I have a sweet tooth. You can kick your cravings if you really want to. You just have to stay really strong and learn how to eat real food, and learn how to nourish your body and add to your diet. So just to go over those quick tips again. So you've got how to fix the sugar addiction is step number 1, eat real regular meals. Step number 2 is drink lots of water, choose clean foods, eat right for your metabolic type, ensure that you're getting adequate protein in every single meal, ensure you are getting adequate fat into your diet, add spices for variety, move and exercise more, get enough sleep, get some fresh air, be aware of hidden sugar, and eat your phytonutrients. So, if you've got any questions that you want me to answer on next week's podcast, please send them on in. You can just submit your question below this podcast, and I would love to answer them. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you sign up to my newsletter. This is a weekly newsletter where I send out all the information that's been going on in the online gym, Forever Fit, all the latest news, tips, everything that's been happening, latest recipes, what I've been creating. This week I've done some amazing recipes. I've got this chocolate like Nutella sauce that I made, and it's just stunning. So make sure you sign up to the newsletter to get that recipe. And I also made these wicked little, using dried fruit, so my dried rehydrated figs with coconut and orange zest, and they were like little muesli bar sort of truffle rolls, and they are absolutely amazing. So sign up to the newsletter and you'll get those recipes. And if you haven't already, join the online gym. It is only $12.50 per week, and you get access to over 400 workouts, everything from fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. You've got workouts that are yoga through to core workouts, high intensity workout, extreme workouts, everything that you need to get in like real good quality shape. And you have access to me to help you fine-tune your diet and take that diet to a whole new level. So I'd love to help you out. Join the online gym, and if you haven't already, make sure you sign up to the newsletter and be part of the Forever Fit community. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week.